Welcome and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush. I'm here to help you master your sales conversations. Today is one of our Mastering Excellence series. That means I'm bringing on an incredible guest for you. And I'm asking some questions that are based on my background in neuro-linguistic programming, where we learn that there is a structure to excellence. And once you understand the structure of how somebody is achieving exceptional results in some area of their business or life, you can then take that structure, apply it to your own area of life or business, and see
Mhm.
if you can get similar results. So, today's guest is Louise Brogan. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Louise, but I will tell you what we're going to be focusing on today is how to grow your YouTube channel to grow your business. And I don't think I could have gotten a better person to come and share with us. So, here's a little bit about Louise if you don't know her yet. She is the CEO of Louise Brogan Limited, helping B2B companies leverage LinkedIn to raise their profile and generate leads and sales. As the host of Raise Your Visibility Online podcast and YouTube channel with over 99,000 subscribers, she shares actionable tips for growing businesses online. She is a winner of the Digital Marketer of the Year award. She's also been recognized in the top 100 small businesses and top 100 female entrepreneurs in the UK. She was honored to represent UK small businesses at Buckingham Palace, meeting King Charles. Louise is a sought after speaker at corporate conferences, including European People. I'm not sure if I said that right. Tube Fest, Women in Finance, Tech Connect, and Social Media Fest Ireland. Her expertise has been featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, Social Media Examiner, The Guardian, and The Times. Beyond her passion for helping solopreneurs, coaches, and consultants through workshops and one-to-one training, she also works with larger organizations like BT, BBC, the Chartered Institute of Accountants, England and Wales, and the Law Society. So, whether you're a small business or a larger company, Louise is dedicated to helping you build your brand and drive results online. Louise Brogan, welcome to the show, my friend.
Nikki, I think you know what? It's amazing to listen back to all the things I've achieved. I should listen to this more often. I think I'd like to hire myself.
Yeah, who wouldn't? It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm so impressed. Now, we have known each other for years. We met back in, was it 2017, I think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, 2017, and have gotten to work together. I know I've been on your show a few times. You've been a part of the Sales Maven community for a very
Mhm.
long time.
Which I
Uh,
love.
I know that I have hired you to help myself and my team with LinkedIn. You're just an incredible, beautiful person, and I'm so happy to know you.
Oh, Nikki, it's so lovely. So what a lovely thing to say. And when I got a request to come on your podcast, I was like, oh my goodness, when can we do it? Quick, quick.
I'm so excited that you said yes. Now, you've had some incredible things going on, but before we like dig into I've gotten to like sit back and be an observer and just be in awe of what's going on for you right now. But
Mm.
tell everybody a little bit about the work that you do. Like, what are things that people come and hire you to help them with?
Yes. So really, our core business, and I have a small team now, our core business is LinkedIn content done for you. So clients hire us. So small businesses, um, bigger corporates who want a presence on LinkedIn but don't have the bandwidth, the knowledge, the expertise, whatever the reason it is, who want to outsource their LinkedIn to a trusted pair of hands, hire us to do that. I also personally do LinkedIn one-to-one coaching and consulting, and that is more with usually it's women. It's not all women, but it's usually women who have reached, like, they're amazing, successful women, and they don't really understand how they can leverage LinkedIn properly or effectively. I had a most amazing call this week, Licky, with a lady who literally ran a countrywide program for UNICEF, for example. So it's my honor to be able to work with people like that to
Yeah.
help them to be seen on LinkedIn. And then I also started playing around with YouTube during the pandemic. And I've become a woman of YouTube, which is actually an official
Yes,
group,
you have.
which is really fun. It started off as something I like to learn how things work. My background is in IT. I've got a very logical mind, and I like to figure out how things work, which has really worked so well for me for LinkedIn. And then I have two really good friends who are YouTube experts who will be speaking on global stages about YouTube. And they said to me, Louise, you should really be using YouTube to talk about LinkedIn. I was like, oh, let's go and have a play with that. But it's become something a lot bigger since I started playing with it during the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was saying to you before we started recording, like I remember it, I don't feel like it was that long ago. I want to say it was last year, it could have been 2 years ago, where you had said, okay, I'm gonna start, doing some stuff on YouTube. Would you, subscribe to the channel? And
Yes.
at the time, if I remember correctly, but please correct me if I'm saying this wrong, you were trying to get to 5,000
Yeah.
subscribers. Is that true?
That probably was about, I would say that was probably about, it could have been this time last year.
Now,
Yeah.
this morning, well, actually, I was looking at your YouTube stuff just the other day,
Mm.
and you were at like 90,000. And this
Mm.
morning, you're at 99,000
Yeah.
subscribers,
Yeah.
and that could change today. Like today, you could break the 100K mark.
Yes.
That's how fast things are growing for you.
Yeah,
It is so exciting to
it
see
is.
that type of success.
Yes. And it's also what you can't see as the watcher is the views. So the views are going to
Mhm.
hit 2.5 million views on. So there's software that you use on YouTube to monitor your metrics. And there's TubeBuddy and there's vidIQ, and I have vidIQ, and it's predicting me to break the 2.5 million views this Friday, which is just crazy. It's crazy to think that many people watch my videos.
It's it's amazing and exciting. And that's why, I wanted to kind of dig into this because
Yes.
there's no doubt you're a LinkedIn expert. As a matter of fact, I just watched a video where you were talking about how you could add the pronunciation of your name to your
Mm.
YouTube or not YouTube, excuse me, your LinkedIn profile. Now,
Yes.
as somebody who understands the importance of names and people wanting their name said properly, helping people say your name successfully,
Mhm.
it is such a rapport builder. So that speaks right to the core of like who I am, what I teach, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was so awesome." Now, I haven't added it yet because I literally just learned about it, but I'll be going and adding that to my LinkedIn
Yes.
profile. Like people can learn how to, you know, pronounce your name properly because
Yes.
people ask me all the time, "How do you say your last name?" So,
Yeah.
how can you help them be successful? So anyway, the stuff that you're doing with LinkedIn and teaching people how to use it properly is incredible.
Mm.
And doing it with this YouTube spin to it is
Mm.
just amazing. So I do want to dig in this idea of how do you grow your YouTube channel or how you've grown your YouTube channel, how you
Yeah.
did it, that
Yes.
and how it's grown your business. So I guess before I ask you the first question,
Mm.
if you were to say in like 3 sentences or less,
Ooh.
how has growing your YouTube channel impacted your LinkedIn business or just your business in general, however you want to say it?
Yes, it has definitely impacted my business, and I think that's when I'll tell you my 3 sentences, and then I'll tell you how I started to find this as a useful tool,
Okay.
YouTube as a useful tool. But people who don't know how to use LinkedIn are not looking for that advice on LinkedIn. They're looking for it on search engines, and they're Googling how to create a LinkedIn company page, how to use LinkedIn for business. So they find my videos, and like you and I both know, Nikki, people learn through reading, through podcasts, through video. People all learn different ways.
Yep.
Certain people learn through those videos, click on the videos, watch the video, and then they come and connect with me on LinkedIn. So it could be a long lead time in. They might have been following me they've seen a video on YouTube, they've connected with me on LinkedIn, they follow me for a while, and then whenever they want training for their team, they're like, oh, well, we'll contact Louise. So it's been that. My favorite story is Gavin, who is an Irish man who lives in China. And 2 years ago, he started a new business in the med tech space. And he needed to understand how to use LinkedIn for this business. So his business takes him all over the world. And he was in his quarantine hotel in China, trying to figure out how to use LinkedIn, found my videos, and he said, I was in this quarantine hotel for 2 weeks, so what was I going to do with my time? He says, I binged your channel. And then he reached out to me and said, Louise, and he said, so I knew I liked your style. I liked how you taught. So I reached out to you and said, Louise, can you help me with LinkedIn? And he turned into a year-long client. So I did training with him, and then we set up his LinkedIn company page, and we managed that for him for a year. So that, that set of videos led to about £25,000 worth of work. So that's about what, $35,000 worth of work. And that's just one example. Another lovely story that I have. So I don't know if, Nikki, if you know, I've written a book. There's a book coming out.
I know you have a book. I knew there was one coming.
Yeah. So,
tell us
anyway,
about that.
it's called Raise Your Visibility on LinkedIn. But don't want to distract from the YouTube story. So there's a lady whose story is in my book, and she was the head of the advertising team working for Microsoft Europe in Dublin, because Microsoft's headquarters for Europe are based in Dublin. And she said to me, Louise, all of our office use your YouTube channel for learning about LinkedIn. And I thought, that's so funny, because Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So why are you coming to me for this training? It's so funny. But that's just, those are typical stories. And the funny thing about it is that people maybe won't realize is that these are very senior executives with large budgets who are using YouTube to understand something before they go out to market to look for someone to help them with the solution to that issue. And when you are showing up on video and talking about an area that you're an expert in, you're the person they're going to book a sales call with, because they already like your personality, or they like how you talk about stuff. So it's a no-brainer that you're going to be the first person that they book a call with. And that was a big surprise to me. I started the channel as a resource for people who couldn't afford to hire me. That was really where it came from. But it turned into this whole other thing. And that's when I started to take it a bit more seriously.
I think what you just said, I just want to reiterate, because I think that, like, already, I feel like I just had this huge light bulb moment. People who are eventually going to hire somebody start by searching first to see what kind of information is out there. Get comfortable with the person that they're learning from before they reach out and hire them. So I get this idea of like, oh, I'm putting content out on YouTube to help people who can't afford me. But in actuality, it's the people who can afford you that are looking there first before they even come to you. So what a like huge aha moment that I just had. So thank you for that. I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to hear today. So thank you. We're going to keep going because I want more, but I feel like that made it worth it. Just, and I hope for the listener too, that you're going like, oh yeah. Like, I feel like it's one of those, in NLP, they call it a comment on the obvious that isn't obvious until it's commented on. Like you just blew my mind.
Oh, I like that.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. So here's the first like mastering excellence question, which is, if I was going to stand in for you for a day, what would I have to do, or how would I have to think and or behave? So you can take this question in whichever way you want, to think about, okay, I'm here to grow my business and I need to do it by growing my YouTube channel. What would I do? What would I have to think, or how would I have to behave?
Yes. Brilliant. Okay. So the way I think about this is, what are the questions that people are asking? Not what do I want to tell people? And I think it's there are other people who do LinkedIn videos, of course, on YouTube. And there are other LinkedIn experts who have YouTube channels. But if you watch some of their videos, they are talking about, they're introducing themselves. They're setting the scene. then they're getting to the point. And people on YouTube, it's a completely different audience. They don't care about that, and they'll switch off and go to somebody else straight away. So you've got to think, okay, I want to teach people how to become brilliant at sales. What is somebody who doesn't have a skill set in sales? What are their questions? What are they actually asking? You know, what's a good sales question? Do I need to have, I don't know what the questions are for your business, Nikki.
Yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
should stick to my own. But so for mine, it might be, do I need a LinkedIn company page? How do I update my profile? And loads of, some of my runaway success videos are, in fact, one of my biggest videos is, how do I post on LinkedIn? So if you can answer questions, then you start thinking, well, this is what people want to know. So you do research, what are people actually looking for? How I have done mine, it's probably not how I would teach somebody else to do it, is the video you just talked about, the name pronunciation field. I was on LinkedIn and somebody was talking about how important it is that someone on a call asked her how to pronounce her name because it was Irish. And I thought, oh, that's, you can do that on LinkedIn. And I thought, oh, have I got a video on that already? No. So I went and created a video and stuck it up and then sent it to her and said, look, here's how you do this. You should do this. So I literally listen, and I know you do this too, Nikki. I listen out for what people are asking. I listen for my ideal clients. What questions are they asking? And I take note of them. And I use Asana in our business. And I do write down, video ideas. The video experts would say that you have to create a story and a structure. But I find that the videos that land the best with my audience are where I literally answer the question they've just asked. So I go straight into it. So there's no, hi, I'm Louise. It's nice, I'm glad you're back on the channel, blah, blah, blah. I literally go, to update your LinkedIn profile photograph, click here, and I literally walk them through it. And I've always been that kind of a teacher. I've always been, let me show you, let's go through this together. Let's walk through this together. I do get some comments. The comments make me laugh. Louise, this is brilliant. I love how you don't waste time and wave your arms around. But one of my other most popular videos is how to upload your resume to LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, Nikki, there's, I would say half my audience are people who are in careers, who want to move to the next level within their industry. And half my audience are people who want to use LinkedIn for business. So I do have a mixture of both. And that is probably why it's grown so much, is because a lot of people want to figure out how to use LinkedIn to get to the next job application that they have. But the resume, the video about resumes, I just love reading the comments there, because everyone is so, they're just like, oh, you made this so easy. Why couldn't we figure this out? Why does LinkedIn make this so hard? Thank you so much. Thank you. I honestly, every morning I open my emails and there's a new comment like that, and it just warms your heart. So it's so lovely as well. But yeah, so I just think, what video, what are people asking that I can make a video on? And then I make the video. And I do like to be on screen. So if I'm doing a walkthrough of something, I do like to be on screen, because I do think then people get to know who you are. So it's normally like I'm in a little box at the top corner, and then there's a big screen and I'm walking them through it. You have to, as I say, you don't use filler content and fluffy words. I currently edit my own videos. And that is probably something I need to change. And I think if I had hired an editor for my videos, I probably would have got to the numbers maybe well, maybe I wouldn't get there faster. But people will charge $300 to edit one video. My videos are like 2 minutes long. And I just think, I don't know, that just seems a bit bonkers to me. So I just do it myself. But also I like, as I said earlier, I like learning tech. My background is in IT. I like learning this stuff. So edit the videos, add the captions, and then the really key thing, and this is what I had a big steep learning curve on, is you have got to think, what is the thumbnail? Which is if you ever look at a YouTube screen, the thumbnail is the image that just before the video starts to play. And a good way to describe this is if anyone watches Netflix, and you're scrolling through Netflix, it's the image of the TV program that catches your eye. It's not really, it's you're literally drawn to what's in that image, and you click on it to see what the program is about. So the thumbnail is really, really important, and the title of the video. So you have to think about keywords in the title, also in the description of the video. And then this is a tip that people may not have heard before. I learned this. I spoke at a YouTube conference in the UK in May, and one of the other guys said, if your video is about LinkedIn company pages, he said, the more times you say LinkedIn company pages in the video, the more the algorithm picks you up as the answer to the LinkedIn company pages question. Now, I know you've been podcasting a long time, and you and I both know you couldn't just keep saying, in the Sales Maven Society, we do this, and in the Sales Maven Society, we do that, because your listeners would be like, oh, like, just keep saying the same words. So you have to be clever about how you do it. But if it's the search, Google search also searches on the audio. So if I'm doing a video about LinkedIn company pages, I try and say, and navigate over to your LinkedIn company page, and then go to the edit settings, and then save your LinkedIn company page. So it's subtle enough that the viewer doesn't really notice I'm doing it. But it definitely adds to the ability to be found with the SEO.
That is an incredible tip. How I relate that from a sales thing is I think it can come off really schmarmy when somebody's like, so Louise, you were saying in sales that what's important to you, Louise, and they say your name over and you go like, stop saying my name. Like, why are you saying my name so much? And then you talking about this idea of like names are important, right? And the keyword and this idea of searchable. So how can you work it in so it does feel conversational and it doesn't feel like a tactic, a strategy, even though it is a strategy, it's just being more, I think, conversational in it.
Yes.
That
it's definitely something it's a skill you have to learn, I think. Yeah.
And those kind of like tips to me are just priceless. The fact that you just shared that. Thank you so much. I feel like, a few months back, I had Melissa Rose on the podcast, and she was talking about your Google, like the Google My Business, like your Google business page is what I'm trying to say. And she had shared a tip on there that I was like, oh my gosh. And it actually was about SEO too, right? Like she was saying that Google actually searches what people write in their review of you for SEO. And so I think, and I remember thinking like, that is an incredible tip. So what you just gave here to me is the equivalent of that, of like, oh my gosh, those are like the secret sauce things that those of us who are just kind of thinking about paying attention to our YouTube channel need to know. So thank you.
And the other thing, Nikki, that's important here is, so I might call it a LinkedIn company page, but the person who doesn't use LinkedIn yet might call it the LinkedIn business page. So when you look into the volume of search on those two things, far more people are searching for LinkedIn business page than LinkedIn company page. So now if I'm doing something about a LinkedIn company page, which is what LinkedIn calls them, I'm more likely to say on your LinkedIn business page, because I know that my searchers are using that term and not the company page term.
Okay. So before you do a video, you're doing some keyword search. Is that true?
Yes. Well, I'm always doing, I'm such a geek. I'm always looking at analytics and data, honestly. Like, people are going, oh my God, she's such a geek. She'd be so much fun at dinner parties.
I mean, I would love to be at a dinner party and sit here and listen to this stuff. I love this stuff. I love tips and strategies. Like, that's really how I built my business too, is like, and I love to hear them from people I would never know this stuff. So please.
Yeah. Yes. So remember I said I use a tool called vidIQ.
Yeah.
And there's a free version, and then there's like it's $10 a month or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But so they will do, in their menu, they have like keyword research, and they will have suggested videos for you to do. Now, sometimes I don't really pay necessarily attention to what they suggest. And I go off and do my own independent research. But also on YouTube itself, there's a tab on the content, and it says, oh, what does it say? Let me get the right terminology for you, Nikki. But basically, it's telling me what I should be suggesting. Oh, it's not going to let me type into my Zoom. I apologize. Edit this bit out, Nikki.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Perfect.
There's a tab on your dashboard on YouTube, and it suggests topics. And when you click onto it, it'll say, here are topics that are trending within, I think it's within your audience. So some of them will be just random things that have got nothing to do with LinkedIn, but a lot of them will be really useful, like LinkedIn profile URL, you know. So I will take a note of those and make videos on those things as well. So it's helping you. YouTube is helping you to create content that your audience are looking for. So that's a really useful tool.
Yeah, fantastic. I love this so much. Okay, so I feel like we're kind of like, I'm kind of all over the place with this because I really just want to dig and like more. When you're thinking about your goals in particular, and for me, it's always like, what's the goal and what's the outcome? So when you're thinking about your goals and your outcomes of how to grow your YouTube channel to grow your business, what are those? What are your goals?
So mine are very specific.
Okay.
My goal this year has to hit 100,000 subscribers. And
that's probably already done by the time this airs, but okay.
Well, hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
And now, don't laugh at me, but part of that is because I turned 50 this year, and the thought of me being a YouTuber just makes me laugh so much. I just, like, as in a joyful way, I think it's wonderful that you can be a mum of 3 who's 50, who's going to get a silver play button that all the teenagers want. It's just like, I am like, let me hit that goal, get that silver play button up on the wall behind me. I cannot wait. And one of my clients, her son is 12, and she said, Louise, like, Rory is going to go bonkers when you get a silver play button. And that just makes me, I just love that. I love that. So I'm very, obviously, I always thought I was not very competitive, but I obviously am a little bit. So I can't wait for that.
Okay.
Then once I hit that 100K, Nikki, the goal changes completely. So which might surprise people. So to get to the 100K, I have done a mixture of videos that are aimed at that person who's trying to get to the next level in their job. Those people are not my ideal clients. Once I get over the 100K, and I'll tell you, it is an exponential curve. You know, like they talk about a hockey stick curve on YouTube. It doesn't climb in a steady way. It climbs like in a hockey stick curve. Once I get over the 100K, then I'm going to be way more strategic about making videos that speak to my ideal client. So I'll do the occasional one that job seekers, like the upload your resume video is not something that my target audience is looking for. So I am going to do a lot more around employee advocacy on LinkedIn, CEOs and why they should be using video on LinkedIn, a lot more targeted to my ideal client once I get over that marker of 100K. So once I get my, you know, my geeky little gamer silver play button, then the strategy changes. And it has genuinely been just really fun doing this and seeing those numbers climb. But the strategic part and the goals part will change once I get over that number.
Fantastic. Okay, so what would you say are the key things that you have done to reach this goal, to get yourself to where you are right now? And maybe you feel like you've talked about it, but I just want to check to see.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm consistent in creating video. So there is a video goes up every week. I create videos for the people who are in my audience. And what I mean by that is, if you go on YouTube, you'll see a lot of talk about YouTube shorts. People my age don't watch shorts. You know, shorts are for I can't remember what gen we're in now. Like Gen Alpha's the teenagers, isn't it? So the
Oh my gosh, I
22,
don't even know.
yeah, the 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, they all love TikTok and shorts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
My buying audience is not interested in shorts. So I have dabbled in shorts, but I don't get a lot of success with them. I don't do TikTok style videos. So I do how-to explainer videos, which showcase me as an expert and showcase my knowledge and expertise. So there's that. So in May, I spoke at a conference on stage, and this is how I remember my milestones. When I spoke at that conference, I had 10,000 subscribers. So, and we are now in November, and I'm at 99,000 subscribers. So at that conference, one of the other speakers, and that's how I learned about the audio tip, that LinkedIn or that YouTube is searching on audio as well.
Mhm.
At that conference, one of the other guys said, and he might have had, I can't remember, he might have had nearly 1 million subscribers. Can't remember. So YouTube was his whole business, which is not for me. It's not my whole business. In fact, we can talk about I'm very open about the revenue that I get from YouTube. I get around 450 to 500 pounds a month, and that's paid by YouTube directly into my bank account. And that comes from advertisers putting videos in front of my videos.
Mhm.
And the reason I get paid quite well by per 1,000 views, because the people searching for my videos are considered people to have a higher income. So advertisers pay more to be in front of my audience than they do to be in front of someone who's doing a Minecraft video, for example.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
right. So it's a nice piece of money, right? But this one guy said, I was like, how on earth did you get to 1 million subscribers? That is just, mind blowing. And he said, well, Louise, I do invest a bit in it as well. And I was like, well, what do you mean? So after that, I learned that you can promote your own videos to your network. And I thought, well, I don't want to spend loads of money on this, but I want to try it out and see how it goes. So I made a promise to myself that I would never spend more money on YouTube than I got from YouTube, basically.
Mhm.
So I started promoting some of my videos at like $5 a day. And I mean, like, I never spent more than $5 a day in any day ever. And in that May to July period, it just blew up. It went to 1,000 subscribers a day. That was the growth. And I thought, this is insane. And the two friends that I spoke about, who are YouTube experts, were texting me going, Louise, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm putting this $5 a day in here. And they're like, that's like we've done promoted videos before, but I've never seen it like that before. And it just went mental for about 2-3 months. And then it started to slow down.
Mhm.
So I thought, right, okay, that was like not a flash in the pan, but it gave me a big jump start. I think it went to about there. I'm trying to think. I think one more time we went on our family holidays in July, I maybe had grown from 10,000 to about 27 or 28,000, or around that anyway. And I thought, suddenly I thought, maybe I'm going to hit this 100,000 after all. Who knows? So I did do that, and that
Okay.
is, you want to be careful about who. If you do that, it's like I never did ads in any other field ever. So I don't know. I can't speak about Facebook ads or anything like that.
Well, I can tell you I've spent a lot of money on them and have never been able to recoup what I've spent.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
I thought, you want to make sure you're targeting the right countries. So I would target America, UK, Ireland, and then I just pick random countries like Switzerland and Luxembourg, Germany, countries that speak English.
Yeah.
Just so that's what kind of started to escalate it. But it's interesting because when you look at the statistics in my YouTube channel, the advertising is only really, because I thought, oh, this is why my numbers are growing, because I'm putting
Mhm.
money into this. But
Mhm.
actually, when you look at the statistics, it's only a small percentage of that growth. So it has been, been a little bit of that has helped it. And then the other thing that's happened is you can go into every video and you can go as deep as you want into analytics. It is a data analyst's delight. One of my videos that started to take off, I was like, why is this video really, like, when I say taking off, Nikki, maybe having 30, 40, 50,000 views, and I wasn't putting in it, there's no promotion of it or anything. I'm like, what is this? So you can go down and see, where is this video? Where are people coming to this video from?
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that some of the videos where I talk about improving your profile for your career are being used in educational programs. So there's a program in I can't remember if it's Nigeria or Ghana or somewhere like that. And they are sending people directly to this one video. And that's where all those viewers are coming from. So it's kind of fascinating. You just don't know where it's coming from. It could be like, I could get picked up by a learning provider in South Carolina who will say, oh, you need to, like, it could be a university professor who says you need to get a good LinkedIn profile before you leave university. Here's a resource that you can go and use. And they just share it out, and then people share it out across their network at that university. And suddenly I'm getting this swamp of people coming in from a particular state in America. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Where's that coming from? And you dive into the analytics and you can see exactly where it's coming from.
Okay.
So, it's, you could spend a lot of time looking at this stuff, but it's not my core business. So I just have to pull myself out of it sometimes. Go, Louise, come on, focus on your work.
So interesting. And I love that you love the analytics stuff too. I will say I like a little bit of it, and then my brain goes, okay, Nikki, I like
Yes.
to talk money, but if we want to talk numbers, my brain starts to go like, wait, can we go back to talking money instead? So yeah, so I get that. Okay. So this has been so phenomenal and so helpful, and my brain is kind of on fire right now, thinking like, oh my gosh, Louise, I've learned so much. What is one thing I haven't asked you about that you feel like we need to dig into about this idea of growing your business or growing your YouTube channel to grow your business?
Yes. So one of the things that I preach about is repurposing. So I came up with an acronym, because I love an acronym.
Me too.
Called How to Cope with Video. And that is create once, publish everywhere. And this is something I think, see, people say, how have you got so good on YouTube? It's multiple things, Nikki. So from the very start, when I made a video for YouTube, I would embed it into a blog post that talked about that thing. So Google loves that, because you're putting that video in multiple places. It's rare now that I send out one of my weekly newsletters without one of my YouTube videos embedded into it. So you create the video and you repurpose the life out of it. So it might be like a 5-minute long video on, I've got a couple of videos on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and all the steps you need to make sure you do. So they might be like 8 minutes long, 15 minutes long. So I can take that video and chop it up into 8 different pieces. I can take the transcript and write a blog post from it. I can take that blog post and turn it into a LinkedIn newsletter and embed the video into the newsletter on LinkedIn. I can send it out on my email list on ConvertKit and embed the video into there. I can chop it up and put it on Instagram stories. So it's not that you create one video and stick it on YouTube. It's that you create a video and then you say, right, this is a resource for me. What am I going to do? Or an asset. This is an asset in my business. What can I do with it? And repurpose the life out of it. And like the podcast, so my podcast got renamed to Raise Your Visibility Online. And I'm putting all the podcast episodes onto YouTube. Now, podcast episodes on YouTube are not a great runaway success. I know that there are podcasters who do their videos all on YouTube, but that's not really what people go to YouTube for. They're going to get an answer to a question. So I put the podcasts on there as well. But they are now listed under a playlist called podcast. And I get small numbers there, but maybe those people are going to those podcasts, and then there's links out to other videos, saying, like if I mention, oh, LinkedIn profile, there'll be a link to, here's the LinkedIn profile video. So, but yeah, create once and publish everywhere. That is my motto, because if you're going to get yourself ready and get on camera, the very least you can do for yourself is use it as much as you can.
That's right. Yes. I learned this years ago, and I say it too. When I think about content, I think recycle, repurpose, reuse. But I love, love the COPE, create once, publish everywhere. And I
Yes.
think one of the mistakes, I know clients ask me this all the time. They're like, but I already, put that content out on LinkedIn, 6 months ago. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So put it there again. Or like, well, I posted it on LinkedIn, so I can't put it in my newsletter because it's the same content. I'm like, oh, absolutely you can. And you
Yes.
should. And as a matter of
Yes.
fact, you should then turn it into 5 other things. Like I always
Yeah.
think, if you have one piece of content and if you're not using it at least in 5 ways, you're
Yeah.
not maximizing. And there's
Yeah.
probably 5 probably is a low number, frankly.
Yeah. And no, totally. And it's this year I switched all my clients over to doing video. And you have to kind of cajole people into and say, oh, I think, we could do video, and here's why. So I will record a video with a client for like 30 minutes. And out of that, I will get at least 4 videos for LinkedIn. And then we write an additional 4 posts based off of what they're saying. We then create a newsletter out of it. And I've persuaded 2 of my clients. So we have retainer packages that we work with clients on. 2 of my clients have allowed me to take them on a journey into YouTube as well, because I genuinely, Nikki, think that everybody's going to want a YouTube channel in the next couple of years. Honestly, I really think with the advent of AI and everything, there's something about seeing the person on screen that just is really making an impact with people. And maybe in 5 years' time, all these videos are going to be, well, hopefully not. I said to my husband in the car the other day, if anything ever happens to me, do not let anybody take my voice and turn it into a podcast. Please don't. But yeah, I think that the YouTube channel, in the same way that people started to come to LinkedIn in like 2021 with the pandemic, before in 2019, people were not so fussed about LinkedIn. And now it's enormous. It's got 1 billion accounts. Well, I think YouTube is going the same way. More and more business owners are going, oh, maybe we should be on YouTube. And I think it's going to really take off. So that's my prediction anyway.
I think that is an incredibly smart prediction. There's a few people I listen to regularly. One of them is Scott Galloway, and I've noticed he's been talking about this lately. They're always talking about businesses and, what's going on in the world, what's going on here in the US. And he was talking about streaming services, right? Like we all are, most of us love streaming services. And he's like,
Yeah.
what do you think is the number one streaming service in the world? And every time I hear him ask this question, people often say, well, actually, I should let you. What would you say? You probably know the answer, but
Well, I think I know the answer is
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
But people always say
Everybody says Netflix. Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, it's YouTube.
Yeah.
And actually, I heard him say the other day, he was talking about one of his podcasts. He has quite a few, but one of his podcasts, he was saying that he said, if your YouTube, your presence on YouTube isn't growing faster than your podcast probably isn't growing. And I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah, Nikki, honestly.
okay.
So my podcast, I've been podcasting since 2018, I think, and I've 256 episodes now. I will hold my hands up and say my podcast was kind of a neglected baby in the business for a while, and I would do one every now and again, or I'd get the impetus to record a series and then I'd kind of drop it again. So I don't think my podcast has hit 100,000 listens. Unless Libsyn, I don't know how their metrics work, but that's what it's saying. It's about 100,000 listens.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am with 2.5 million views on YouTube. I mean, it just doesn't compare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
it really, like, again, it was one of those, like, when I heard him talk about it, I was like, okay, Nikki, like, I feel like people are like smacking you upside the head going like, pay attention. So I'm super
Yes.
grateful that you're willing to come on and have this conversation and share, because your success story is so incredible. But at the same time, I think we can all look at you and go, okay, I can do that. Cause it
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago when you started. It's not like you're
Yes.
saying, oh, I started in 2018 and the rest of us are like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind the curve. It's like, no, like a year ago, she was
Yeah.
asking people like, "Hey, will you follow my YouTube channel? Will you subscribe to my YouTube channel?" And she was going
Yes.
for 5,000. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this airs, she's over 100,000. And frankly, if you're not subscribed to her channel, please do that, and I'll make sure you can give it a call out for everybody again. But it's incredible, and I think it's possible. So thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, absolutely. We
Before
didn't, we
I
didn't,
Oh,
sorry, we
go
didn't
ahead.
actually talk anything about the all other ways to make money, because I know you like money, Nikki.
I love money, girl.
The other ways to make money on YouTube, which is I am being hammered with right now, and I don't know what I need to have somebody else deal with it, is the companies who want to give me free software to use to do videos to promote affiliate deals and brand deals, and it's just bonkers with it because of my audience now, and it's something I will have to deal with in the new year. But I think there's also massive potential there
Yes.
for another income stream that I'm just busy doing my business to
Yeah.
work on it right now. But yeah, someone offered me $300 to write a LinkedIn post based off of my audience. I was like, oh, this is interesting. This could be another interesting revenue stream. So yeah, there's a lot of money available when you get to a certain size, I think, as well, at a completely different revenue stream. So
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that too. Now my brain is also spinning in another way. Okay. Okay. So I do like to bring, as we bring it to a close, like, I always like to ask a few questions so people get to know a little bit more about you, if that's okay, if you're
yes,
willing. Okay.
yes.
So my first question I love to ask people is, what's something that brings you pleasure and or joy right now?
Reading,
Mm,
reading books. I love reading. And I think when the kids were younger, you didn't really have the time to do it. And I've got full scale back into reading novels. I love reading a novel. I don't like to go to
me
sleep at
too.
night without reading
Same.
at least a chapter of a book. So yeah, it gives me a lot of pleasure reading.
I love that. Uh, what do you think people would be surprised to learn about you?
That I'm, well, maybe they can tell by how I talk, but I'm not really that organized. People think I'm like super organized, and my job was for 10 years. I was a project manager. I am really not I'm a bit chaotic sometimes, I think.
I guess I would be surprised about that because I don't think of you as chaotic at all.
I think that I am queen of multitasking.
Okay.
You know, I have multiple tabs open in my brain and I can jump across them all with ease. So I think that's why people don't realize. But I'm really, yeah, I have to really pin myself down with a to-do list to get through things. And I'm very, very productive when I do that. But I think I am, people always say, oh, Louise, you're so organized. I'm like, oh my God, I am so not.
Okay. I love that. Okay. What is something exciting going on in your business right now?
Oh, well, I am about to be published, Nikki.
Say
So
more.
excited.
It's so
I am
exciting.
so excited. So let me tell you a wee story. When I was at school, like when I was 12 at school, I always, always, always wanted to be an author. I used to write little books. Like my parents have like little bits of paper where I wrote stories. When I was about 12, I wanted to publish a story in my school magazine and it didn't get published and I was devastated. And then I did we do exams called GCSEs here in the UK. And I did English and English literature, and I got a C in English literature, which is not a brilliant grade. I mean, it's fine, but it's not brilliant. And I was also devastated because I'm one of the world's biggest readers. So I put it all aside and thought, oh, well, not going to be a writer, not going to be, not going to be an author. And that's another thing that I did during the pandemic. Like I've talked about wanting to write for so long. So I started writing my book so maybe not that chaotic. I wrote it as a series of newsletters on LinkedIn. And that was the only way I could get it done and out on paper or on print. And it's all ready to go. I've got a wait list for it set up. I'm just setting up the all the finishing touches, and I'm going to be an actual author, and I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank
Do
you.
we have a tentative date of when it's going to hit the market?
It's so I listen to your fabulous podcast with Susan Friedman.
She's fantastic.
She's amazing. I immediately went off to find her and to absorb lots of information from her. So I want to have all my follow-on resources for people who buy the book ready before the book goes out. But I think it's probably going to go out before Christmas. That's the goal anyway.
Okay, that's so soon. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Nikki, sorry,
Yeah.
my Alexa's just started. Hold on. Alexa, stop. Sorry, at 5 o'clock every night, it just plays the music on its own. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I couldn't hear it.
Okay.
But Christopher, you can edit this part out. That's fine. Okay. My last question for you as we wrap up is how can people connect with you? Because I suspect the people listening they want a little more Louise in their life, and there's so much that people can learn and glean from you. So how do we do that?
Fabulous. So my website is louisebrogan.com. The waitlist for the book is louisebrogan.com/waitlist. And of course, come and connect with me on LinkedIn or subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Raise Your Visibility Online is the name of the YouTube channel.
A fantastic name for a channel.
Thank
and
you.
It's filled with so many great tips and strategies about how to really maximize your exposure on LinkedIn. So check her out. Thank you for being here, my friend. I'm so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful that you came and shared. And I know that there's so much more to come for you.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. It's just been a lovely way to spend my afternoon.
Thank you. And for you, the listener, thank you for being here. I hope you took away some really fantastic nuggets. Would you please share with us, tag me and tag Louise and share what was your big takeaway, and share this episode with somebody who needs to know about these things, because there's so much here. So thank you for listening. I'm wishing you continued success in all that you're doing. Have a great rest of your day.